Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. In Lagos, it's not sprinkling, it's wet. Let's put it like that. I can't exactly say it's raining cats and dogs, but it's wet. Don't know what it's like in your part of the country. However, here we are. We have important business today. In fact, our guest this morning is one of the most distinguished Nigerian lawyers, and we have quite a number of them. I'm speaking about Chief Adegboyega Awomolo, SAN. He's a vice chairman, body of benchers. He's fellow, the chartered body of benchers. I beg your pardon. He's a vice chairman, body of benchers, fellow Chartered Institute of Arbitrators of Nigeria. He's a fellow Nigeria Institute of Advanced Legal Studies. And I just stop there for the moment. A fine morning to you, Chief Awomolo.
Good morning, Jory.
Thank you very much for making. We can see that you excited that you could.
Thank you.
Your schedule. Indeed. There are a number of things that we. There are a number of topics. In fact, I don't think we have enough time because when we have such an august appearance on our program, usually there are more questions than we can possibly fit in. However, we'll try our best. And I think one of the places that we could start from is the students' loan law that has just been signed into law by President Tinubu, matters arising from it. Now, let me say, sir, before we go ahead, that I understand that you yourself are a beneficiary back in the day of the arrangement, the students' loan arrangement as it existed then. If I can take that as the truth, then I'd like you to compare and contrast with what we have now. How easy it was, what the parameters were then, and how different the new law that has been signed on behalf of indigent students, shall we say, today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Now I want to thank God that He gave us President Tinubu as the president for a generation like this. The signing into law of that bill of student loan scheme is one of the greatest legacy that he will leave for generations to come. I believe that when he was campaigning, he promised that students will be assisted, particularly with respect to loan scheme, so that they can concentrate on their education, advance their knowledge, and build a great future for this country. He has achieved that. I commend him, and I thank God for our generations that even in our time, we can have something like this. I was a poor student when I was admitted to University of Ife in 1974 to read law. And at that time, there was what is called Students' Loan Scheme, 500 naira only. And that 500 naira was sufficient to pay your school fees and provide some comfort in terms of feeding and such needs of students. I got loan for 3 years, 74, 75, 75, 76, 76, 77, and I graduated by the grace of God in July 1977. But regrettably, the scheme ended by the military for no good reason. Now, since then, I have been looking for where to pay my loan. I went to Accountant General of the Federation and said, I want to pay my loan of 1,500. It was to attract interest, and I wouldn't know how much interest would be, but I was prepared to pay 1 million naira. At least it take care of the interest that had accrued by the years. But there was no place to pay it. There was no head by which I could pay into the Treasury or into Central Bank or anywhere that federal government receives revenue. So I thank God that the loan board has come back. So I'll be able to pay my debts plus interest. But let me say that...
Sir, you couldn't hear me. You couldn't hear me when I was speaking. I was asking, sir, was that 500 per month or 500 per year? What was that about? You said it was enough to take care of fees and general upkeep.
Yes, it's 500 naira for every academic session. You know, the procedure was that you will apply and fill a form. This is a copy of the form that I filled in 1974-75. 75. This is the form that I filled, a copy that I kept since 1975. This is the affidavit that I swore to in 1975. This is the receipt I paid for the payment of Commissioner for Oath. Now,
yes.
This is the loan bond. When you apply through the registrar of the university. The university will process it and send it to Lagos. Then Lagos will send you a bond form, which your guarantors will fill. Each student had 2 guarantors. I had 2 guarantors, and they signed for me, and I kept the copy. So what we are saying is that although it was free, but you have the regular record, which will attest to your status as an indigent student. You also have the bond that your guarantors will fill and swear to before a commissioner for oath. These documents are there that thing. The loan comes, will be refunded by the
Well, apologies to our viewers because I did speak about the weather conditions. It might well be that those weather conditions are exactly what is affecting the audio right now. So sorry about that, Chief Awomolo. What is happening is that your speech is being broken up by dropouts, so to speak. But until a few seconds ago, we were hearing you in sequence and loud and clear. But could you proceed, sir, in case it has improved? Okay.
To our viewers.
Well, we're right on this as we are speaking now. But what you are saying, what Chief Awomolo is saying, is not really coming through. It must be satellite conditions. I don't know. I mean, the engineers would know all about that. But our guest is, is one of the most distinguished lawyers in Nigeria, and Chief Adegboyega Awomola, SAN, and we want to have a sort of a wide-ranging conversation with him, and we're starting from the fact that he himself was the beneficiary of a student's loan, and he has just shown us where you can trust lawyers to not be messing around with documents. Can you imagine his document as a student all those years ago? I believe he said 77. It was when he graduated. Those documents are what he is now showing us. Meanwhile, we're waiting for the audio situation to improve so we can continue to hear from Chief Awomolo. But at the moment, it does seem that there are challenges. Can you hear us loud and clear, Chief Awomolo? Okay. It does seem to be one of those kind of situations, but I'm sure we'll get the Chief back. And this should be an interesting conversation, because in case you didn't join us at the beginning of the program, I was just telling you that Chief Awomolo was appointed life member of the body of benchers by the Chief Justice of the Federation at the time, Honorable Justice Mohammed Bello. And he's been a member body of Senior Advocates of Nigeria since 1972. And You also know that he's a fellow Chartered Institute of Arbitrators of Nigeria. Among many, he's also fellow Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, and many other accolades in that regard. Far too many to mention, since we want to really hear from the experience of the learned senior advocate of Nigeria. Can you hear us now?
Very well, I can hear you.
Excellent, sir. So where you got to before we started to have problems, I believe, was that you were just, well, let me just ask a fresh question, but it's related. There you are showing us your documentation from when you were a student, an indigent student, but you have all those documents. And I was commenting that, well, you can trust lawyers to be very, very particular about documents and very finicky about documents. So I guess most people wouldn't have been surprised to see a senior advocate show documents going back to 1977. But one thing that occurred to me was that you just said that you actually were looking for how to repay your loan. You had set aside a princely sum. Well, to most of us, it is princely, but what is happening in Nigeria nowadays, some people take the figure you mentioned with disdain. But you were looking for, how will I begin to pay back this assistance that has been done me by my country? But you couldn't find how to do so. Does that indicate that even though the idea was good, there wasn't any seriousness of organization, if from then till today you are still looking how to pay back your, I believe you said it was 1,500?
My indebtedness.
Yes, your indebtedness to the country.
Yes.
You have not been able. What does that say, sir? Does it indicate that the idea might have been good all those years ago, but it certainly wasn't seriously structured? If we have the situation we have. And how is this newly signed law by President Tinubu different from that?
Well, thank you, Uncle Yori. You see, what I was saying is that there were no continuity of that institution called Nigerian Loans Board. It was scrapped for no good reason. And I believe with the introduction of the new Act of National Assembly signed by the President, I've said it is a new beginning, a new hope for common people, for poor people of this country. At that time, as 1975, when I first applied, almost 75% of students of University of Ife applied for the loan. And we all got it through the university. So if the loan scheme had continued, all the agitations we are having now in universities of poor students, of dropouts, of inability to continue education would have been a thing of the past. So I commend the initiative, the deep thinking, and the speed between the President Tinubu has begun this scheme. I believe that it is the only way by which we can secure the future of this country through education. Now, I was saying to you that I didn't have a place to pay back. I'm sure I will not be the only one who wanted to pay back. Several students who enjoyed the loan will have wanted to pay back. I did everything. But let me confess to you, now that we have a bank for the education loan, certainly I'll be able to pay back to that bank with my name and my numbers. As I said, you apply as a student. This was my application form. I signed this bond by my guarantors. This is my copy, and I've kept it since then. You see, now that we are age of digitalization, or where everything can now be computerized, it should be much easier to keep records. Not only that, it will be much faster to process applications. Whoever the president will appoint to the bank or to the bond must be people who have human feelings, who have empathy, who have love for education, so that the program would be a success. It must be a success because it deserves to be a success. It is meant for the common people of this country. If I did not get the loan, I probably would not have had my LLB. My parents were not rich, and they could not have been able to afford the school fees for 3 years.
Okay.
Feed me, clothe me, and provide for all my needs as a student.
Okay. Well, indeed, it's delightful to know. The only challenge now is that people like you who benefited in that way and wanted to pay back, there simply was no clear knowledge as to how to do so. I imagine things are going to be different, as you just pointed out, with the digitalization, with banks being involved. So I'll take it that you're rating President Tinubu high on that particular score, that, look, he has done something that meets with your approval.
No, I don't need to record. I don't need to say that. The day at the beginning, the day has shown that he's a man who is a deep thinker, who understands Nigeria, who understands the problems of the youth, and who understands the need for our future as a country. Without education, Nigeria will be nothing. Today, India is one of the most educated countries of the world. They produce engineers, and Nigeria deserves to be above, or if cannot beat the record of India. In the next 10 years, we should turn around the face of Nigerian education. And every Nigerian citizen or every Nigerian child who is interested in education will be encouraged. I am aware that ASU and quite a number of few lecturers have made uncomplimentary comments about this program. They were not citizens of Nigeria then, or that they did not enjoy this privilege, which we enjoy. Or perhaps they were sponsored by their community, by their churches, by their mosque, or by their uncles who were rich. But for those of us who went through the poverty line, and there are many Nigerian students who are going or who are on that poverty line, indeed, they deserve to be educated. And this initiative of President Tinubu deserves commendation and encouragement. I believe that ASU should not be concerned whether you now charge fees. Of course, if you've obtained loan, you must pay your fees. So universities will not have enough fund to manage their affairs. I mean, ASU is complaining, there's not enough budgeting by the National Assembly, there's not enough funding by the Accountant General of the Federation. With school fees paid by students, deducted from their loan, the university will be able to be in a better position to fund their activities, pay their teachers, repair their laboratories, manage their infrastructure, and Nigeria will be a better place. So there will be end to ASU strike. I'm sure there will be.
Indeed. Okay. Now let me go from, this is in education and also in youth, clearly interests of yours, but another interest of yours, I think this touches on it, because President Tinubu signed a law unifying the retirement age for all justice. So we go from the youth to the elderly. Give me your comments on that, sir, about this unification of the retirement age for judges.
Yeah, it is a very good idea. For me, there was no justification for the discrimination of this retirement age and benefits and the like. Because if you know what our judges go through, perhaps we would say that the judges are the lowest court, the one that deserves to be more encouraged or empowered. Because if you look at the amount of cases that they sift through every day, and in recent times, political cases have really created a lot of problems for the dockets of courts and judges. So I believe that it's a good thing. But sincerely, I believe that it is not enough to retire at the age of 70. If you are lucky, you were able to survive, because the condition of service, the salaries, emoluments, and the working condition of Nigerian judiciary is the worst in the world, with due respect. I say this with all sense of responsibility. How much is the judge earning? Take home. How much are his allowances? How many of them have the opportunity of generating their homes? I mean, there was a court where rain did not allow the court to see because rain was falling through the roof. The working environment of judges need to be attended to very seriously. And recently there was this act of National Assembly, making the judiciaries independent and self-accounting for their fund. I believe the president should please open the files, because the body of benchers and the Nigerian Bar Association and one of our colleagues, Sebastian Horn, went to court. And there are decisions of the court that says, improve the condition of service, allowances, and salaries of these judges. And unfortunately, President Buhari was not able to effect his promise. I'm sure there are enough materials in file for President Tinubu. He has the record of being a friend of the judiciary in Lagos State. Lagos State has one of the best judiciary in this country, followed by Rivers State. They have good accommodation, they have good working conditions, and they have some level of financial support that makes them comfortable. So I will be pleading with President Tinubu that what he did in Lagos, he should replicate it all over Nigeria for judiciary, because judiciary is the last hope of the country, and I commend his efforts so far.
Indeed. Now, let me just, at this juncture, also ask your opinion on, commentary that we get. Everything you said about judges, most right-thinking members of society will say spot on, but there also have been complaints about the judiciary, and in any case, it is people, professional people in this case, who make up the judiciary. And some aspects of the judiciary has not quite been up to what some might think of as the moral standard that we should be taking for granted. Now, as I said, this is public commentary. I don't know, one, if you've heard of that, and two, what you think of such insinuations, shall we say, because we all depend on the judiciary for the smooth running of society.
Thank you. Justice is rooted in confidence. And confidence we are talking about is confidence of the common man in the streets. There is a saying that judiciary is the last hope of the common man.
Right.
There is pervasive corruption in this country, no doubt about that, from the top to the bottom. And there is fight against this corruption by all institutions and all men of good desire for Nigeria. But Nigeria gets what the judiciary he deserves. I mean, imagine what was being said in the National Assembly lately. Imagine what people are saying about judges collecting bribes and the rest of them. It may be true. I am a Nigerian. It may be true. But I must confess to you, there are men and women of highest integrity on the bench. These are men and women who swore to the oath to be honest and to uphold the integrity of judiciary and the Constitution and the law. There are many of them. I've been in legal practice for over 45 years. And I know quite a number of them. I can tell you that I can beat my chest and say, in all my 45 years, I've never bribed any judge in my life. And I will never do so till I die. So there are many judges who are very good. There are many judges who can never compromise the integrity of judiciary and justice. We need to encourage them. And then we also need to fish out those few ones who are bringing bad names to the judiciary. They are there. I mean, there were recent decisions that I, as a lawyer, cannot justify. I cannot defend it. But then, it's not everything that we must ascribe to corruption. Sometimes errors occur from time to time because they are human. And come to talk of judgments and justices, we must also give them the opportunity to believing that they can be human.
Indeed.
And where there are errors like that, that's sort of because to err is human.
Indeed.
So, but in all, I can say that majority of Nigerian judges are men of integrity, men of learning. And, some years ago when I attended Commonwealth law conferences all over the world, including IBA conferences, jurists of all other jurisdictions, they ask for judgments of our Supreme Court because they believe that these are judgments that were rich in knowledge of learning of the law, jurisprudence, and worthy of being copied. So I want to believe that
IBA being the International Bar Association. You spoke about IBA.
Oh, yes.
International Bar Association.
Yes, International Bar. You are right.
Indeed,
and the Commonwealth Law Conference I'm talking about are the...
I was going to beg your pardon because I have to go on a break right now. I beg your pardon, Chief Abomolo. I have to go on a break right now, but we'll be back in a jiffy so we can continue this very interesting conversation. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And this morning, our guest is a special one. We do have them from time to time, although in a manner of speaking, all of our guests are special. But you know what I mean, because today we have Chief Adegboyega Awomolo, SAN, Vice Chair, Body of Benchers, to talk with us and give us the benefit of his experience. We've spoken already about the new Students' Loan Board, the new student loans law that was signed by the President, and Chief Awomolo has commended that very, very highly. He himself is a beneficiary, although he's still looking for how to pay back that loan. And I think now that everything has been digitized, he'll soon be able to do that. We've established that, and we've also spoken about the judiciary, and we've noted your comments on that. Now, so I can take it for granted, I imagine, that, no, maybe I shouldn't take anything for granted. The performance of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federation, so far, what would be your assessment so far? And it's very short. I think we have about 15 odd days.
Well, so far, so good. He has been a man of his word. He has demonstrated that he is prepared to take Nigeria to the next level. He has demonstrated that the hope that he promised for the common man, for the rich, for the privileged, for the deprived, is not dimmed. I mean, the only one that has hurt us is this issue of petroleum subsidy removal. Mm-hmm. But we all know over the years that petrol subsidy has been described in many odd ways. Oh, it's a fraud, it's a scam, it is undeserved, it's unjustifiable. But no one had the courage since 2012 to remove this subsidy. But he has shown that he's a man of courage, he's determined to do what he believes, and is prepared to, yes, he said so that, he said, I know your pain. I feel your pain. That means he's empathic. He's a Nigerian with the human blood flowing in his veins. So let's give him a chance. Okay. Let's give him a chance. I know yesterday I was watching the Marketers Association trying to be funny. I believe that Nigeria deserves the best. We don't have to be ruled forever by cabals. The Marketers Association or whatever they are, they should bear with Nigerians. If for many years they have been collecting their dues, only for a few months they have not collected, they are now threatening Nigeria. I think the law should take its course because the interest of Nigeria is paramount.
As you probably know, sir, our program is an interactive one, and we have in fact, we sort of held down the calls so that we could hear from you first. But now George in Lagos is on the line. Good morning to you, Mr. George.
Good morning, Yori, and good morning to the elder statesman you are talking to.
Okay, thank you.
Uncle Yori, kindly give me 90 seconds to say something.
Sure.
Uncle Yori, those who wanted to foist the management kindergarten on us in the name of what they call it, savior, some of them are already praising ASO Tinubu only after 15 days. I want to urge those people to just wait and give him like 1 year from now. They will know that ASO Tinubu is not just an ordinary politician. He's a man that was prenatally sent to this country to fix this country, Nigeria. So they shouldn't just be in a hurry. Talking about the loan schemes, sir. Yesterday, I heard the president of ASO already condemning this loan scheme.
Yes,
even when
the chief has already spoken about that, as you know, as you heard.
He has not read the law. He admitted that he has not read the law, and he's already condemning it. I want to remind ASO that it is not the business of university teachers to determine how parents or sponsors pay the school fees of their children. Their own is to manage the students when they are in the school. ASO cannot constitute itself as a block on the progress of Nigerian children. I think they are trying to overstep their bounds. This law, this scheme, is meant to help the poor, and it is not in the place of ASO to become a stumbling block to it. We must hear the warning, or else people like us will take to the streets and ask the government to proscribe ASO if they don't sit up.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. George, for calling in. I saw Chief Awomolo just smile at that notion. But again, thank you very much for contributing it. Now, Chief Awomolo, I want to go to some other current issues in the polity. As you know, the former governor, I guess that's what we should call him now, the former governor of Central Bank, has been, put on suspension by the president. And there's been commentary on social media. Indeed, I think one or two papers to the effect that the removal or the suspension of CBN Governor Emefiele, the president had no such powers so to do. I wonder what, give us the benefit of your thought and experience on this matter, sir.
Well, it is not new to Nigeria that governors of central bank were removed at one time or the other. But the law is that who is the appointing authority for the governor of central bank? The president, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, President Bola Tinubu, is the appointing authority because from 29th of May, when he took over the reins of Nigeria's president, he becomes the de facto and de jure president. And he can act within the law. I believe that he has acted within the law by suspending the governor of Central Bank. I am sure the governor of Central Bank cannot contest this. He was appointed by the former president as governor of Central Bank, and his appointment was confirmed by the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The same route, if he is to be removed, the president will address National Assembly and said, this man no longer deserves to be president, the governor of Central Bank. I propose his removal. And the National Assembly or Senate will say yes or no. But the law is very clear. He who has the power and authority to appoint has the authority to remove. And he who has the authority to remove has the power to suspend. That is what interpretation law tells us. He who has the power to appoint has the power to remove. And he who has the power to remove has the power to suspend from performing the functions of that office, pending the removal.
Okay.
And the president did not say is suspending him for removal. He said pending investigation of misconduct at level against the governor of Central Bank. So the president has acted within the law, and nobody can question that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that brief, opinion. That sort of, I imagine a lot of people will now, be a bit clearer on this whole matter. But as you know, your learned colleagues, they can argue anything for as long as they want, given the opportunity. Cash.
Excuse me. Lawyers don't argue just anything. We argue on points of law and understanding of the law. So please be corrected. Lawyers don't argue anything. We argue the law to the level of our understanding and appreciation of jurisprudence.
Thank you very much, sir. And I am duly corrected. Lawyers don't argue anything. But what I really meant, sir, was that any subject that is brought for their considered opinion, they will satisfy you with both pros and cons of that subject matter. But I am duly corrected, sir. Now, Cash has called in from the UK. Good morning, Mr. Cash.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, firstly, I really commend our new president, Bola Tinubu, for this initiative about student loan. It's very welcome. Thanks for that. And at the same time, yesterday, Yakub mentioned about NURT. I called yesterday. It's part of what Yakubu said about NURT. I think it's very commendable because I don't know any country that are engaging on NURT and has been an old, backward, local, and primitive attitude. And this system should be eradicated.
Okay, Mr. Cash, whereas I appreciate your call, Mr. Cash, I appreciate your call. I'm assuring you of that. But you're referring to a subject of yesterday. And as you know, we have a fresh subject before us this morning. So I want to thank you very much for calling in and letting us know, the much that you have let us know. But I wanted us to stay on the subject matter where we have an eminent legal practitioner, Chief Adeboyega Awomolo, giving us the benefit of his experience and opinions in some cases. He started from the very place you started from, Mr. Cash. That is the whole education process. And we have also heard that so far, so good with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And some other people have also called in to say that this one is in about, 2 weeks. Somebody has said that clearly that person must be an APC supporter, but who isn't a supporter of the presidency? That give it another year and people will hardly know the country anymore because of its systems and its organizations. I guess that's what people are hoping for, Chief Awomolo. That is what people are hoping for. And if morning shows the day, it does look like it's going to be a bright day for Nigeria, isn't it?
Thank you. I agree with you that the money shows the day. And you see, people who are doubting, they may be justified looking at our experience over the years. But here's a man with his new ideas, with his new vigor, with his new courage, with his new knowledge. You know, if he's not just a politician, he's a man with experience. And if you have been related to him or with him, you know that he's a deep thinker. He listens very well, and when he asks you a question, unless you are prepared, it throws you off. So he is a man who is well connected with the old, the young, middle-aged, and old men like us. But I can tell you that the first 1 year will tell us where Nigeria will be in the next 4 years. So I will urge that Nigerians should give him opportunity to demonstrate what he promised. I mean, this tells us that he has more in his kitty. Look at employment, for example. I mean, there's no way that the employment will not be generated if you have, a very versatile man in the industry. He came from the background of private sector and went to public sector and molded the arena and impacted very severely. So I want to believe that if you look at the team that is putting together, I am very certain in my mind that when you hear the ministers he will appoint, it will convince us that, this man means well.
Indeed. Let me now bring on another caller. Let me bring in another caller, this time from your beloved Kwara. Mr. Labode has called in from Kwara. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Ayori.
Good morning. Please go ahead now. Don't listen to those echoes. Please just go ahead.
Okay. The chief said that for the past 45 years, said they have never bribed any judge.
Yes, I see.
And
so.
that there are so many very good judges, honest judges.
Hello, are you there, Mr. Labode?
Yes.
Okay, please, quick.
And when he entered OAU 1974, he got a loan and he wanted to pay back. He wanted to pay back
Mr.
that
Labode,
loan now.
please don't listen to the echo that is repeating what you have said. I know it's a temptation, but just please continue. It's slowing us down.
Some of his colleagues too, some of his classmates equally got that loan. Are they now ready to pay the loan back like he has indicated?
Okay, that's your question. Okay, thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Olabode. You called in from Kwara. Well, Chief Awomola has told us that he is very thankful that now he's going to be able to make contact with the authorities to pay back plus interest whatever he benefited from. But I imagine Chief Awomola can only speak for himself. But would you like to take a stab at the question that those classmates of yours that also benefited, to what extent are you sure that they too are as willing and as eager as you to pay back that loan plus interest?
Well, I can tell you that human being what we are, most of us are grateful for whatever favors we enjoy, either from man or from God. And so I want to believe that most of my colleagues who were with me in IFES 75, 76, and 77, who enjoyed the benefit of this loan, most of us are now old. Not only that, many of us are in very convenient positions. I mean, it is true that many will have retired in public service, but there's no way you will not be able to wanting to pay back, because if you pay back, it will encourage those who are going to take from the current bank. I mean, the obligation to pay back. The scriptures tell us that you must pay your vow. You must pay whatever you owe. I swore to an oath that I will pay back this money. And each time I see the oath in my file, I ask myself, when will I pay? Because I can die today, I can die tomorrow. So if I die today, my children know that I'm owing federal government 1,500 naira, which I obtained as loan. But I will wish to pay it back before I die, so that I don't pass it on to my children as part of my liabilities. But I can tell you, many students who enjoyed the benefits of this student loan will want to pay back. In advanced countries, student loan is not something that is new. These students, they are obliged to pay. Under the new law, you'll be obliged to pay back through your employer. It's now easy with NIN, with BVN. There's no way you can operate a bank account without NIN and BVN. And so once you operate those figures, and the bank is aware because the bank will be linked to all the other banks in terms of NIN and bank records.
Yes.
So that
So
they
it's a
will
lot
know,
easier
you
now.
are in Ife, you are in... It's much easier
Wherever.
now. That's why I said
Yes.
technology. Technology has made life much easier. And so
People can be-
repayment is not going to be difficult at all.
All right. Let me quickly bring in Austin. I think Austin in Benin, you're our last caller. Good morning, Mr. Austin.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
And I want to say good morning to the other statesmen there.
Chief Adegboyega Awomolo.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, let us not listen to what ASO is saying, or the ASO president. Maybe he was lucky his parents were rich. Now, my parents were pizza farmers. But I was able to go to the university and I studied mechanical engineering. How was this possible? It was possible because of the free education of UPN. I went to secondary school with free education of UPN. And when Ambrose Ali University was established, we paid little or nothing in that school. That was why children of the poor, children of farmers, I don't want to be mentioning the names of those who went to that school now, who are big people today. So this program is a very laudable program. It will help the poor. It will help those who cannot go to the higher education, So it's a wonderful thing. And
All right.
to round up, sir, the people who are, people don't know the stuff the president is made of. Unfortunately, there was a lot of hate during the election period. So they said all kinds of things about him. But those people are changing their minds now.
That's right.
A lot of them are saying, we didn't know that this man is like this.
Indeed.
Even here in Benin, I have a lot of them.
Mr.
who are
Austin,
telling me
I'm
now
going to
that
have to
we didn't know
interject.
this man is like this.
I'm so sorry to do so. I'm going to have to interject. But thank you very much, Mr. Austin, for calling in and contributing on that issue, the whole situation of the students' loan law that has been signed by President Tinubu. And, Chief Awomolo, we've virtually run out of time. But one of the things that I take from this is where you spoke about the judiciary, and you did give the impression from all you say that, no, hope is not lost at all. There might have been a few untoward circumstances, but that by and large, there's reason for Nigerians to be hopeful that that ideal of justice, impartial justice, is something we can still look forward to in Nigeria. Would that be correct, sir?
Well, do you know that it's only the Almighty God, the creator of heaven and earth, who himself is justice, who can do justice, but the human effort made by our judicial officers is an effort from their learning, from their experience, from their knowledge, and of course, affected by their environment. But I can tell you, I have very strong hope that Nigerian judiciary can be better. Please advise politicians to leave them alone.
I think that's a fine place to leave it, sir. And I want to thank you very much, Chief Adegboyega Awomolo, SAN, for coming on our program this morning, and especially that last admonition. Let us tell the politicians to leave the judiciary alone to do their work.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chief Awomolo.
Thank you very much
for coming on our program. All right, then. So that's our program today, then. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folare. Bye-bye for now.